What does Los Angeles mean to me? I've always thought that LA is a place where dreams come true.
Los Angeles is like an amazing city.
It's not just a tourist destination for me, it's also home.
Hi, my name is Sophie Janinet, and you're listening to LA Portraits. Today, we are meeting a very busy man, the restaurant owner Lem Balagot, one of Hollywood's all-time favorite caterers.
From Sylvester Stallone to Meryl Streep to Kirstie Alley. Some of them eat here. Anyway, the Grammys, Paramount. We just catered Amazon. A dinner for Critics' Choice. It's a small group. Golden Globe, Oscars.
Impressive, huh? Well, in case you were wondering if there was going to be a little bit of gossip in this episode, for the first time ever, the answer is yes. Let's go. Sometimes, in a city as busy and wild as Los Angeles, you find a hidden gem. A place where you can come to forget about time for a minute, to share food in an atmosphere that feels authentic enough to put your everyday life aside and just appreciate life, far from the hustle. I wouldn't say it's easy to find such an oasis, with its very own identity that will not be felt anywhere else. So I thought that today we could head to East Hollywood to the LA Rose Cafe, which stands at the corner of Fountain and New Hampshire Avenues, tucked just underneath Little Armenia, Los Feliz, and the bottom of Silver Lake.
Sophie!
Yes.
Hi, I'm Lem.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, have a seat.
Lem Balagot was just 30 years old when he chose to settle in Los Angeles to open his own restaurant, the LA Rose Cafe. And that was over 40 years ago.
Welcome to LA Rose Cafe, Miss Sophie. LA Rose Cafe was established in 1982, January of 1982. And we try to create an atmosphere of just being at home. So we have all kinds of collections, like the blue and white plates. We have some beautiful lamps from Italy, from everywhere, from different parts of the world. We have paintings done by Filipino artists. Rene Robles is one of the most popular. He's a national treasure of the Philippines to give a feeling of Filipino art. And we have some Japanese, etc., etc. We have a baby grand piano that we have someone playing on weekends.
Lem himself is a Filipino born and raised, which, as you may know, is not surprising in Los Angeles. I personally had no idea that 500,000 Filipinos live in LA. Fun fact, there was already one Filipino man in the group of the very first founders sent by the Spanish government to settle in Los Angeles. Yes, in 1781. Between then and now, of course, a lot of things happened. The Philippines have been colonized by the US from 1930 to 1934, leading thousands of Filipinos to come to work on Hawaiian plantations and California farmlands. They most importantly took part in the historical Delano grape strike, which finally led to less exploitation of farm workers in the 60s all over the country. In fact, if you ever wander to Filipino town, you might get to see all of this on the beautiful mural that pays an homage to the great Filipino heritage in the US. Although the contribution I praise the most nowadays is probably the three gorgeous Filipinas who brought Enrique Iglesias, Bruno Mars, and Darren Criss to this world. But they are not on the mural, at least not yet. Spoiler alert, it is not the only time you will hear about Darren Criss in this episode, as LA Rose Cafe might be his favorite spot in the city. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, and let's turn back to Lem to find out why he came to Los Angeles.
Anyway, yeah, but I think the biggest reason why people move to Los Angeles, first of all, when you are coming from the Philippines and you're migrating or traveling or being a tourist, the first mainland that you would fly into is either San Francisco or Los Angeles.
Yes,
And-
your side because you're coming from the...
Yeah, from the Pacific. San Francisco can get very cold. I lived there for 2.5 years, and I would rather live in Los Angeles. Number one. Number two, the weather. Number one is the weather. Number two, Los Angeles is very spread out. There's a lot of room to breathe in. Although our quality of air in Los Angeles is not the best. If you ever live in San Francisco, you will know that parking is terrible.
You've been here since, you said 1982, right?
The restaurant.
Oh, you've been here before.
Oh yeah. The first time I came here was 1969. I was in high school. I came to visit an uncle and worked here during the summer.
You fell in love with
Oh yeah, with all the, I was like 17 years old, and when you come to a city like Los Angeles, where you have Hollywood, number one, number two, you have Disneyland, you have Universal Studios, you have all these tourist attraction that you can go to, and I spent the whole summer here, and I tremendously enjoyed, visiting all these different locations.
Although Lem fell for LA as a young man, he didn't settle here until much later. First, he had a lot of experiences that led him to be confident enough to open his own restaurant.
My background, I was with corporate world, food and beverage for about 12 years, and ranging from supper clubs to hotels. I was food and beverage manager for Sheraton Hotel. I also became a manager for Magic Pan Creperie, which is owned by General Food Mills. And then I finally decided, after doing some work with, I went to the Philippines to work with Manila Hotel, which is a very grand old hotel. And I also became the food and beverage director of Philippine Airlines. And right after that, I decided to probably do something on my own. And I was only at the age of 30 at that time.
That's how LA Rose Cafe opened its door for the first time back in 1982. Since then, it grew more and more popular with time. And that was only the beginning of a successful venture for Lem. Did you ever think of opening a second?
Oh, we had 3. Oh yeah, we had 3 locations. The second location lasted for 7 years. And then the third location lasted for about 4 years. The second location was right across the Pantages Theater. Pantages on Hollywood Boulevard. It's a Broadway theater. You gotta go visit it. Oh, it's beautiful inside, the architecture. It was built in 1927. It's the first site for Oscars.
Okay.
That's where they used to have Oscars. It can seat like 3,000 people or 2,800, and we were right across. Oh, we were packed every night because of the theater goers.
Yeah.
And then at lunchtime, we served Capitol Records, people from Capitol Records, and people from Merv Griffin Studios. We were very popular. We had write-ups for LA Times, and we used to get Dick Van Dyke, the guy who plays Columbo, the detective. He used to come in, and Dick Van Dyke, and then Barry, I can't remember his last name. He was one of the stars. He was the star of La Caja Falls. Yeah. And all the dancers used to come in. Because before they go, show time is 8 o'clock, but call time is 5. So they want to get something to eat before going in at 5, so they would digest and everything. So they would all come to the restaurant. We were like we only had like 60 seats. Intimate, yeah. But long, long. It was a popular spot. It was called Robert's Grill, Bar and Grill. We serve liquor.
Why did it close, if I can ask?
The city came and said, "Get out." They built the metro station. So if you see the metro station on Hollywood Boulevard and Vine, that's where we were. Where the escalators go down, that's exactly where our front door was. Yeah, I remember because, you know, they have the stars in front.
Yeah.
But we were there for 7 years.
Okay, and that was the third location.
Second.
Second, and the
The
third?
third was in the corner of Hollywood and Vine. But see, that restaurant we opened up on the corner of Hollywood and Vine was just a satellite of the second. The main kitchen of the third location was the second. So when we had to close the second, we had to get rid of the third. We sold it to a Korean. He made it into a deli.
While you might think that running 3 restaurants was a lot of work, Lem did not stop there. I told you, he's a busy man. So he also did some catering on the side. But not just for anyone.
Oh, I didn't mention, we cater the movies. Yeah, we did it for 35 years. Catering on the street, anywhere, you know. That's how I met a lot of actors, including Sylvester Stallone. We did a 4-day shoot with Sylvester Stallone for a commercial. Oh, I can tell you stories like he was doing a commercial for Japan, not for America, for Japan. And the product was ham. Canned ham. Because they refer to him the ham, right? Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, he's known to be the ham.
Sylvester Stallone in an ad to sell ham in Japan in the 90s? Yes, please count me in. You don't believe me? Hear this out. Oh, this is good.
Anyway, so we did 4 days with him. It was quite interesting, actually. We did in a big studio stage with. They built a pirate ship, very Disneyland kind of a pirate ship, but only halfway. They only, built the part where there's the maneuvering, and it was glittering and sparkling and all that. That was one day, and then the second day was Malibu, frolicking in ATVs, and then the third day was Raleigh Studios. You know Raleigh Studios? Right across Paramount.
Okay.
They built a whole set with, it's like a village, the main street of a village with the snow and everything, and him walking down the main street with a wife and kids and carrying the ham. I know. Oh, the one in the pirate ship, the ham was in a treasure chest. Yeah. I heard he's very popular in Japan.
So, I have good news and bad news. Bad news, couldn't find the pirate one, so frustrated. Good news, found the Christmas one with the snow and everything. Listen.
At that time, that was back in the 90s when we worked with him. The budget for just the commercial, $4 million. Back in 90s.
Which means that
30 years ago.
It was huge for the time, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, and I was talking to the producer and I said, how much do you have to pay Sylvester to do this? He said 1.5 million for 3 days. I know.
That's $500,000 per day.
Yes.
I want to make that.
Yeah, wouldn't we? And then the funny thing is that when he comes to the set, there would be like 15 people around him, and they all look like Sylvester Stallone. They're all like his, stand-in.
Okay.
And then they would all, while waiting for the set to be, set up, they would all stand around him and he would be cracking jokes. Sylvester Stallone would be cracking jokes.
Funny ones?
I don't know. And then, of course, these are people that he pays, I guess, huh? So when he cracks a joke, they all laugh. Ha 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 ha. Oh, and then he doesn't eat anything on the set except sushi. So I had to bring a sushi chef, making sushi for him. And of course, the other people too.
Well, I don't know about you, but this whole Sylvester Stallone ham and sushi story gives me the type of feelings I usually get after a very weird dream. You know, the type where you wonder how your imagination can be that wild the next morning? Anyway, while Lem was sharing anecdotes, I did ask him about one of my all-time favorite actresses, whom he had mentioned earlier, Meryl Streep.
How is Meryl Streep?
Oh, down to earth. Down to earth. She was so she was always in her trailer. But when we interacted, she was very nice and very pleasant. Down to earth. That's because some of the actors and actresses that we worked with are,
Yeah.
You know who I hated most was, she's a famous model, Lauren. She has a crack between her teeth. She's very well known. Yeah, anyway. We worked with Jane Seymour.
Okay.
Jane Seymour I worked with a lot. We worked with Stephanie Powers, Heart to Heart, you know, that TV series. Very nice lady. And I was so shocked the first time I saw her. She didn't have any makeup on, right? They come to the set with no makeup because she was all freckles, all over. We worked with, you know, the star of Moonlighting with, God, my memory is so bad. Anyway, she was also a bitch. She came to the set and she goes, I'm not staying. And the producers went gaga and they said, why? They tried to find out. You know what she was complaining about? Her bed was too soft. This is a trailer, you know, the Star Wagon trailers. She said it was too soft, it will hurt my back. She won't even sleep there. It was a 2-day shoot. And they go home after the shoot, you know. I'm not coming back until I get a new bed. So they had to go out and get a fresh, brand new bed. She didn't want a bed that everybody slept on. Can you imagine?
No.
I couldn't think of anything else. There's a lot of beautiful places. You know, one of the clients that we had when we were catered, we had a 2-year contract with Mystic Film, and all they did was Playboy movies for cable. You know, the ones that they show. They were not porn; they were more soft porn. Yeah. And they shot in all these different mansions for, you know, and so those were some of the beautiful places I've seen, those mansions.
Lem has seen some of the most impressive properties in the Los Angeles area and met a lot of celebrities, but he rarely takes the time to look back, as the present is always calling, literally.
Yeah, we've been catering Grammys for over 20 years. Hold on 1 second. Hi, Joe. Oh, how does it look? Anyway, where were we?
You were telling me about everything you're catering.
The Grammys, Paramount. We just catered Amazon because they're doing Amazon video or cable. They're about to release Lord of the Rings. We catered the screening, the presentation. We cater. Oh, I'm bragging too much. We just did Critics' Choice. We did a dinner for Critics' Choice. It's a small group. Golden Globe, Oscars.
You catered the Oscars?
Yeah, not the big night. We just, small dinner parties that they have. Oh, we did the screening of Triangle of Sadness. Isn't that funny? There's a Filipina actress there, and she got nominated, Golden Globe. How do you know all this? Oh, you're a journalist. Yeah, the Critics' Choice dinner, they gave her a dinner. It was done here. 35 people, yeah. It was a very private, cozy dinner.
Okay.
So Dolly became a good friend.
The actress?
Yeah, the actress.
So it means
When you work in hospitalities in Hollywood like Lem does, you learn a lot about the real personalities of all the people we've seen on TV. Some of them can be condescending and awful, some are just polite, and some can be very kind. They can even become good friends.
Some of them eat here. We apple the app of Black Eyed Peas, Darren Chris was a regular here, but he lives now in New York. He's doing Broadway. Darren's really good.
yes.
I mean, he's younger, and so one day I joked. He was filming Assassination of Versace. He was a Filipino guy, so they made him play the role of the Filipino guy. And he came in one day, and they were in the middle of filming, so he was like totally different. He lost 15 pounds. Yeah, he had to lose weight for the role because Andrew Cunanan was very slim, and he was wearing a full beard and a mustache. His hair was different. He was cut really short. And I teased him. I pretended I didn't know him, and I said, you look like a movie star that comes in here. And he goes, oh, who? And he played along. And I said, do you know Darren Chris? And he said, oh yeah, I'm always mistaken for Darren Chris, right? And then so we were like, fooling around, and then I walked away, and then he ran after me in the kitchen. He said, Lam, don't you recognize me? And I said, oh, is that you, Darren? And you know what? 2 days later, he was interviewed by Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, yeah. They were promoting the movie. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch it. He was so good in it. He won 4 Best Actor awards. And Jimmy Kimmel was interviewing him, and Jimmy Kimmel said, oh, so you're half Asian. Yeah, I'm half Filipino. And then he goes, oh, so you probably eat a lot of Filipino food. Oh, and he said, yes, and the best Filipino food is LA Rose Cafe. And then he goes, shout out LA Rose. That's my favorite Filipino restaurant.
That is so cool.
I know. The next day we were getting phone calls out of our yang. Is Darren Chris there? You know what my favorite answer was? I told the staff, I said, tell them that he's on his way.
So that they would come.
The funny thing is, and then when they come, right? Oh, he just left. I have some photos of Darren there. And then, no, he's become close to us.
At this point of the interview, Lem and I got up so he could show me all the letters on the walls and the pictures of Darren Chris, but not only. A lot of celebrities and other people came by the LA Rose Cafe at some point. Looking at all those memorabilia, I wondered for a second if Lem was a bit nostalgic.
Is there something you miss from that time?
From that time? No, I'm happy.
You're happy in the present.
Yeah. It's time to retire, my dear. Guess how old I am? Just a wild guess.
62?
72.
You don't look like it. You don't.
Oh, I don't think I'll ever retire because I enjoy interacting with customers. I enjoy, and a lot of them still. I mean, my phone never stops ringing.
I can tell. Do you ever see yourself leaving Los Angeles?
Do I ever think of leaving? No.
You're gonna stay forever?
I think so. I will. It will be my home base. I can travel, but yeah, I'll always come back to Los Angeles. First of all, we're very fortunate. We already own our building, you know. Until I get the right price for it, I don't think I'm gonna leave this corner. We have a beautiful corner. And you know, the church, I'm not a member of Scientology. I'm not a member, but with good friends. Scientology is next door. They've been my neighbor for what, 41 years. And we've been good friends, and they watch over us. The security guys, because they're in bicycles, they are always watching over us. When a homeless person starts building camp in front, they shoo them away.
It is not the first time you hear about the homelessness issue in this podcast, and it is also the first thing that Lem mentioned when I asked him what he likes the least about Los Angeles.
About Los
The
Angeles.
least, the homeless. I'm not saying, I feel that the government should find them homes, and they are finding homes for the homeless, but not fast enough. I think they should put 120% to push building or trying to find accommodations for the homeless. And I feel that homelessness is basically how would you say it? An outcome from mental health. Yeah.
All right, so outside of the sun, what is your favorite thing about Los Angeles?
It's very metropolis. It's a melting pot of different cultures. It's easily the population can easily adapt to whatever new thing there is. Very fashionable. It's where all the movie stars are. Hollywood, those things. A lot of new technologies, a lot of new innovations are introduced in this city. It's the next New York or whatever, I think.
Okay.
New York's too crowded now. The museums, I enjoy the museum, most especially the villa in Malibu.
The Getty?
The Getty Villa, yeah. The Getty Museum by the freeway on 405. Too modern for me. I like the villa because it's old world kind of a villa. Yeah, that's one.
Talking about the Getty Villa, but also all the luxurious ones that he saw, I asked Lem if he ever dreamt of having one of his own.
Clients in Malibu, beautiful homes in Pasadena too. I have a client in Pasadena. They have a 10-bedroom mansion. And the house was wonderful. It's old, old world. And they have two family rooms, a library. It's just goes on and on and on.
Would you like to have a house like this?
A what?
Would you like to have
No.
a house like this?
No.
Why?
No more. I'm way beyond that. Oh, the maintenance is gonna be crazy. I would rather have a yacht. No. That way I could move around. In fact, that's a dream. We plan to do that. Rent a yacht in Greece. And you can chart out wherever you want the yacht to go. The Mediterranean, the Adriatic Sea.
It must be so dreamy.
Yeah, it's a dream.
I don't know when Lem and his husband will make the time for this beautiful dream to happen. Maybe he would have to close the cafe. I hope not, at least not on the day that you will go and taste their famous chicken adobo, a staple of Filipino food, or a sans rival, which is the name of a pastry that translates by unrivaled, which I feel is a metaphor for this cafe. So if you do drop by, say hi to Lem for me, if you're lucky enough to see him. And that's a wrap of this episode of LA Portraits. I hope you enjoyed meeting Lem and hearing his anecdotes as much as I did. Remember, if you want to support the show and get access to some pretty awesome bonuses, head to the Patreon of LA Portraits. You can also just treat yourself with some merch on the Buy Me a Coffee page of the show. The links are right there in the description. For questions and comments, reach out on Facebook or Instagram. And most importantly, don't forget to leave a comment and 5 stars on your favorite podcast platform to help more people know about this show. Stay tuned, I'll be back soon.